The Senate passing a $95 billion foreign aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. The bill will now head to the House, where it's likely to hit a dead end. Joining us now, House Majority Whip Congressman Tom Emmer. Is that the current thinking? Is that what you're hearing, Congressman? It's dead on arrival?
Well, I don't think those terms. Good morning, by the way, Joe.
Good morning.
I don't think those are the terms that I've heard from our speaker. But he has effectively said we can't move this without securing our southern border. So we'll see. The Congress, the House is coming back into session tonight. And I'm sure once all our members are back, then it'll be a much clearer picture.
That sounds like a catch-22, though, doesn't it? Because we can't secure the border because former President Trump wants people to be loyal to his notion that don't do anything that could help President Biden. So it's almost like we won't vote on anything until we secure the border, but we won't vote on something to secure the border.
Well, I would say that's not accurate. I mean, there was an effort over on the Senate. Our speaker had made it very clear that our members would require in return for foreign aid, specifically Ukraine, not only did we have to have certain questions answered when it comes to the Ukraine aid, but when you bring it over, you got to make sure that it has border security on it. There was a 2-month negotiation, Joe, that literally turned out a product that could not be done in the House or the Senate. If you'll remember back last May, the House passed a border security bill that had 5 pieces: finish the wall, reform parole authority, reform the asylum authority, end catch and release, and restore remain in Mexico, which, by the way, our Border Patrol has said by just doing the last one, restoring remain in Mexico, it would staunch the flow across our southern border by some 70% overnight. What did the Senate send us? They sent us something that does nothing with the wall, does nothing with parole, does nothing with asylum, does not restore remain in Mexico, and quite frankly, codified what they're already doing illegally when it comes to catch and release by saying you got shutdown authority at 5,000 a day coming across our southern border. Insanity. They need to get that done. And by the way, there's another way to handle it. If the president would just undo the 64 executive orders that he has signed since he took office, which effectively opened our southern border, you could solve it that way, too. But we're going to have to figure out how to get this done in order to move this stuff here in the House.
Right. It just seems like both sides are dug in. And when we hear the president say that there's nothing he can do, no one believes that. No, everyone knows about the executive orders. But then on the other side, you hear Republicans say, yeah, we really do want to get some border security. But you know that they've been told by, President Trump, former President Trump, not to do that. So the American people are just sitting here looking at this 5,000 or 6,000 people coming in every day. And it's just everyone's disgusted with the whole notion. How do we do House members, GOP members, want to give aid to Israel? Maybe there's some that don't want to do Ukraine, but why can't something for Israel happen or get paid? You couldn't even pass that.
Joe, we actually brought it to the floor in the House last Wednesday. And incredibly, it was an $18 billion package, which included 14.3 that was requested back in October, and then some additional to actually help our own troops. We've got to take care of some more efficient weapons for our troops when we're using multi-million-dollar rockets to shoot down drones that don't even come near that cost. So it came to the House floor last Wednesday, and the White House issued a veto threat that, frankly, was, to me, it did not make sense. And 166, almost 80% of our Democrat colleagues in the House voted against supporting Israel. Instead, they voted on the side of Hamas.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, too, because it would be possible, I guess, if everyone co-sponsors a bill, you don't need the speaker to bring it to the floor. These are, arcane rules of the House. And then we hear that you might not have all the Democrats on board because of the Israel component. But do you see how people at home are just like tossing up their hands? And it's insane. that we can't move forward on some that. Do you think we should fund Ukraine now, Congressman?
So I've supported Ukraine aid in the past, and I'm not one of those that says that we should not. But there are some very specific questions that our members and our speaker have asked the White House to respond to that we're not getting the answers. Specifically, where is the aid going to go to? What's the oversight mechanism to make sure that it gets there? There's more than that, but those are just basic questions, Joe, that for whatever reason the White House is refusing to clarify, so that we can go home, our members can actually go home to their constituents and say, look, we've got all the information. It's really important that we do this, and then we can get it done. The White House, for whatever reason, back to your point, whether it's the border, whether it's aid to Israel, whether it's Ukraine, the White House seems to be playing a political game. And we're doing the work of the House, Joe. We're not responding to anyone except for the people who sent us here. Those are the voters at home, and this is the information that they're asking for.
You can't really give me a timeline on when something actually happens for Israel at this point. What in your gut? What do you think? When would we see something?
Well, I think there's a lot that's going to be happening over the next 2 to 3 weeks, not just with foreign aid, but with the spending bills. Because remember, we got a March 1st deadline coming, the first deadline in terms of wrapping up the budget that has been bounced along since the end of September. So I think you're going to see a lot of this come together by the end of this month, but it's going to be a ride.
And then Mayorkas, I guess there's an election today in New York. I don't know how you handicap that. When does Scalise get back? Is he getting back today or tomorrow?
Scalise is back today.
He's back. So when are you going to vote? When are you going to do the impeachment again for Mayorkas?
I believe it's tonight, Joe.
Tonight.
We'll have everybody here tonight. That was the issue last week, is that we were missing one person, Steve.
Right.
Steve will be back tonight. It'll pass.
Okay. All right, Congressman. Good to have you on this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.